Welcome to Comically Comics, your one-stop listen to all things comics. We're talking books, movies, TV shows, video games, and more. I must forewarn you, though, we are a spoiler cast, and what that means is we consider all properties, past, future, and present, to be valid, and we will spoil the hell out of them. I'm your host, Michael, along with my two co-hosts, Richard and Jeremy, and with all that being said, let's get started. All right, we are back. It is Sunday, February 2nd. We're out of the J's for now. We'll be right back in them soon, hopefully, God willing. All right, we got some more Creature Commando reviews, doing episodes 4 and 5 this evening.
5 and 6.
No, apologize, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
I was reading last week's
There's got to be an error
on top
somewhere
of this week's.
we got to make sure and throw something off.
It was Jive and Jix.
I love laughing with y'all. So, episode 5, Iron Pot. Rick and Eric team up to try and save Princess Ilana. In their quest, they come in contact with a longtime Batman villain. Meanwhile, the Bride and the Commandos venture to take out the princess. However, Rick Flag puts them in an unfortunate circumstance. We also get more of Eric's backstory. Whelmings. Jeremy, what's your whelming on this episode?
Just holding strong on whelmed.
So I asked you last week, what does he got to do to get you into the show? Now I'm asking you this week, what does he got to do to get you underly whelmed?
Underly whelmed?
Is it more like cartoon sex?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, something like that. Or just, I don't know. I mean, it's got... I don't know. It's got a decent kind of story, a little not this. I don't know. It's just there, and it's not something that's just. I just absolutely appall, but I'm not gonna go back and watch these. So.
Wow.
Wow.
I must be in the minority of this kind of thing because I was talking to another friend of mine, and he liked it too, and I was like, it's just not my cup of tea. I don't know. It's just not hitting for me. So
I guess I want to understand what exactly is not hitting. Is it the characters? Is it the story? Is it the graphicness of it? Is it a combination of all that?
I think it's a combination of a few things. As far as I'm not as big into the gruesome comedy stuff.
Okay.
And then I don't need to see what's his name, Victor, going at it with the bride and all that. I don't care. And so far, the overall story, I don't care about. It's a very short. It's another one of those that could have been done quickly, but they want to give all the backstories of each character, I guess. Mm-hmm. But the overlying story of this whole thing has just been drawn out a lot, and I'm there's really nothing going on here. Mm. At least to me, that's the way I want to see what the princess ends up doing, who's right and who's wrong kind of thing. But it was one of those that I feel again, it's one of those what we had said before of just maybe doing an hour and a half movie and you'd been done kind of thing. So
I see what you're saying. I do think it's important for us to get the origin stories for these characters, just because they're characters most people have never even heard of.
Yeah.
Much less read of in recent comics or anything like that. He had any kind of contact with in comic books lately. But I definitely see where you're coming from and what you're saying.
And I also get trying to give you a connection with those characters, and it's kind of like what we talked about with Penguin, where you're almost rooting for the bad guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I get where they're kind of trying to come with that maybe a little bit on these two, but they haven't hit home for me.
I'd be real curious to see, by the end of this, when it all ties up, what your view of it then is. Because, in my opinion, James Gunn is telling two different stories at the same time. And I didn't necessarily see it till it was all said and done. So I'd be curious to kind of see your view then. You still may be just whelmed.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested to see what comes of it at the end. And see how he ties it up.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Cool. At least you're open-minded, Jeremy. Kudos to you on that.
Yeah.
Richard, what's your whelming of this episode?
I think I'm whelmed with this episode. I think this is the one that there's one really cool moment for me. And I kind of had that spoiled already of like, hey, this character is going to be in this episode.
Mm.
And I hate that got spoiled for me because I think I would have maybe been pleasantly whelmed. But learning more of just what a absolute asshole Eric Frankenstein is, like it just is like, okay, they're really trying to make me not like this dude. Yeah, so I think I'm just whelmed for that as far as that goes. But I'm enjoying the show. Like I really do like this show a lot.
I think I'm going to echo a lot of what y'all are. I'm whelmed as well. It wasn't a bad episode or anything like that. I liked it. It was a very action packed episode.
Yeah.
So I did like that. There just wasn't necessarily a lot of like, I'm going to say there wasn't a lot of meat, but the backstory with Eric Frankenstein, the buildup of him continuing to, he is a man baby, like you were talking about in other episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense as well because of the whole like, bro was born yesterday kind of thing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He's definitely done the Vision thing of like, you're so naive. He's like, well, I was born yesterday.
Yeah. But like the bride is not that way, which is kind of like so bizarre because it's like he doesn't have to be this big man baby.
Yeah.
But you know, I get the comedy aspect of it too. And like he's a man who's enthralled.
Especially over like 200 years or something, you think he would eventually grow the fuck up or whatever. There's some funny moments, though, I will say. I like with David Harbour voicing him. He nails some of the comedy.
What is it? There's one part. I know I'm skipping way ahead, but it's just if I don't say it, I'm going to forget it. But he went out turkey hunting and came back with a turkey and he goes, here, I got a turkey, talking to the person that cured him, brought him back to health.
The like old lady.
Yeah. And she goes, oh, I smelled it and said something, cut to him or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he was like, careful, I still got a gun. And she's like, I thought that was funny.
I like the part when they're snooping in on the teacher at the university and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I lost my contact or whatever. He's like this big giant like monster.
And then all the kids walk away like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. And he'd been better off saying, oh, I lost my eye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then like just a few minutes later, they're walking down college campus and everybody's running away.
Mm-hmm. Right. Where did he get the Slurpee from?
I have no idea.
One of the big reveals of this episode here is that you got Rick Flag and you got Eric who are doing like reconnaissance mission, checking out the professor. Was it Professor Isla? I think it's Isla.
Yeah, I can't remember.
You've seen her in an earlier episode. She's the one that went along with Cersei being this whole being able to see the future and all that other jazz. And so they were eyeing her at the college where she teaches that, and she's acting really weird, like hitting on female student and wanting to talk about lesbians at Themyscira and all this other jazz. So they decided to go over to her house and wound up finding her dead. So the big reveal is that there's a villain that is actually posing as this professor. Were y'all expecting that? I know, Richard, that apparently got spoiled for you, but Jeremy, like, what was your like, what the fuck moment is this?
Whenever they found her. Now, part of me wondered if something was going on because honestly, I agreed with Eric of like something's wrong with walking a cat. That's your like immediate red flag there.
Bad omen.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because whenever he said that, like I was like, okay, yeah, that's not normal. So, but yeah, whenever they find her dead, I was like, oh, that's not good.
This is what I was mad about. I was like, man, this would have been such a cool surprise. Because I don't think I would have seen that coming. Because I'd have been like, who could... I was thinking like, maybe it's Cersei using like a spell or something. Like, I think my head would have gone there. It wouldn't have thought immediate Clayface. And I was just like, man. But still, regardless, it was cool. Because it was like, oh shit, it's Clayface.
Yeah. Like Clayface is in the James Gunn universe. He's established, he or she, whichever one they decide to go with.
Yeah.
So like Clayface is a thing.
Yeah.
And then I think another thing that kind of throws it off a little bit is like I guess doesn't necessarily throw it off, but like there's a Clayface movie that apparently it's been greenlit. I think we've talked a little bit about it. And so is it going to be part of the James Gunn universe or is it going to be part of the Matt Reeves? Like that's where everybody's kind of like, which one is it going to be?
Yeah. I'm excited though, because like Alan Tudyk does the voice for Clayface, not just for the Harley Quinn show, like, you know, the one where he's like, I am an actor. But he also apparently voiced this Clayface, which is
cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So he put like more of like a darker spin on it, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
And yeah, one of the things I love is like this is like kind of Batman the Animated Series Clayface, because originally like one of the old versions of Clayface was just a guy. He was like almost like a chameleon from Spider-Man, where like he just had like this putty face that he could like shape and change into other people's faces. But I've always liked the animated version where he's this big hulking like clay monster.
No, yeah, I'm enjoying that as well. I did think he had like some weird, like they did his anatomy a little weird, but I mean, he is a clay monster. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed seeing him like just because like I don't feel like you really got to see Clayface kick ass in the animated series, but here he was like doing it. And I was just like, wow, just like the threat that Clayface actually is when, you know, you have a writer who's like, oh, yeah, I want him to kick his ass.
Yeah. Rick was getting his absolute ass handed to him. Eric Frankenstein could basically do nothing.
Yeah. And I don't see how Rick survived that at all. I mean,
did he?
He's just, we don't know for sure, I guess.
Yeah. The one beef I had with, though, was when Eric uses the electricity to like take out Clayface or whatever. My wife mentioned, she's like, Clay is famously non-conductive. Electricity would not work for it at all.
I don't know. I feel like that's a trope that animated series did though too. Like I think that's been one of his big weaknesses or whatever is to get electrocuted.
I thought they used the freeze technology. They would always like freeze him in a thing of ice for Clayface.
Maybe so.
Regardless, though, the other cool thing I was thinking about it was like, if Clayface is this much of a threat, how much of a threat is Batman? Batman faces this guy on like a regular basis.
Right? That's gonna be, I don't know. I'm ready to see what James Gunn does with Batman.
Yeah.
Like, I almost treat it like a celebrity where it's like I envision this really cool experience, but then at the same time, like if you actually go and meet the celebrity and they're a jackass and you're like, fuck, I wish I'd never met that celebrity. Like that's kind of how I kind of think of like James Gunn's Batman right now. It's like, I really want to see that, but it's at the same time like, do I though? do I really want to see that?
Yeah, like that whole like don't meet your heroes kind of thing.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes. We got the Commandos going back to Pokolistan, and they get to run around with
Alexei.
Alexei and the forces and stuff. What y'all think of that whole fight scene? I thought the bride goes ham pretty much every episode. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it played out very well. Like, and then seeing them split off. I mean, it's one of those you don't know how they're going to handle it, but it obviously we find out in the next episode. But yeah, I think they handled it pretty well as far as like them. That fight scene there and everything, and yeah, it was pretty intense.
Man, I fucking love Dr. Phosphorus. Like, just flips off the tank, and like he's just like melting through the tank into the guys, and then melts straight through him. Which goes to show you, I guess he was like pulling his punches when he was fighting Rick in the bedroom, because like. Dude just punched Alexei's head off.
Yeah.
Just clean off. And well, not clean off. The jaw was still there. But anyway, it gets into the James Gunn, like hyper violent kind of stuff, which I appreciate. I don't know if he's going to do that like with the heroes necessarily, but with these quote unquote villains, I appreciate. Yeah. My question though is why is Nina still there? What did she do? Exactly.
Like why?
Why did Waller send her on this mission at all?
Exactly.
I also have some theories about all that, but we'll get into that in a minute. But No, yeah, I love the fight. The thing that still bugs me is I'm like, these knights have like really advanced tech for like the rest of the rest of Piccolo-stan is like underdeveloped, but her knights have like these almost like Lex Luthor-esque power suits. So it's just very odd to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then when the bride gets a hold of their, like she does they're almost like stormtroopers. Like she does way more damage with their own guns
yes.
than they ever did. And I mean, they're pretty powerful. Like they were taking off heads and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad.
Yeah, she like ripped a dude's arm off. They were all like meat puppets when they were fighting.
Yes. Phosphorus is, though, one of my favorites. I do like just how he handles himself, just stripping down to nothing and, and standing there with the whole tank scene. That was freaking great.
Mm-hmm. It was.
So if a car is going at him like really fast, I mean, is that just immediately melt, or would he not have enough time to make it that hot?
I think it's that
to melt.
Make it that hot.
Well, wait, which? That he wouldn't have enough time to make it hot?
Yeah, I think he needs time. Like the only reason he was able to heat through the tank and why he stripped down is because he knew he was going to get so hot that he could melt through the tank and everybody else.
I got you.
And then when they were shooting the bullets at him, he was like using his powers to like heat it up so that they would melt and explode before it hit him. But like, if a sniper was like shooting at him from behind, it may actually like kill him or something.
I got you.
And it seems like he can control like not only when he gets that hot, but also what body parts get that hot as well.
Yes.
It's nifty.
I don't have anything else as far as this episode. You were saying something about, do you have other things to add, or you're saying something about you had theories?
Yeah, I do have a theory. Like, because I'm wondering, I've been thinking about the Clayface scene a lot. And at first I was like, is this all just like a self-fulfilling prophecy? If Cersei hadn't given Waller that vision, they wouldn't have gone and attacked Piccolo-stan, and then that will lead to them trying to destroy the rest of the, like World War III, destroying the rest of the world, killing off Superman, all that stuff, which I'm sorry, but if the creature commandos can take out their army that easily, ain't no way they're going to take out Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle. I'm trying to think of all the people that were in that scene. Starfire.
Judo Master, by God. Don't you dare.
Okay, sorry. Judo Master. That's all they needed, actually, was Judo Master. There's no way in hell that happens, but whatever.
This is pre-Gorilla Grodd, though, too, Richard. Come on.
Still, there ain't no way. But then I was thinking, I'm like, why the fuck is Clayface there? Clayface is a criminal, and technically he's a monster. And I'm like, is all this orchestrated by Waller? Because that sounds like something Waller would do. Is all this like Waller, like, remember how in the Suicide Squad she sent an A team and a B team, and the B team was just like cannon fodder, and the real team was A team. I'm like, is this all just orchestrated by Waller to like get something from Piccolo-stan? Maybe it's the oil, because she mentioned how it's got like a bunch of oil in it, or so. I don't know. Maybe it's a weapon of some sort. Maybe it's another metahuman. But I'm just like, something's very sus about all this.
That sounds like something a Waller would say.
I don't know, because I was just like, why is Clayface there impersonating that person? Like, who is behind all this? I'm hoping that gets revealed. I'm sure it does, but it doesn't get revealed in the next episode. But that was my theory of like, it has to be Waller. It has to be Waller's behind something.
Does it?
Yes, it does. It does. The last couple of things is just more Eric Frankenstein stuff. When they're in the house with Clayface trying to like hide, and he's telling him to hide, and he's like, "You're not." Rick Flag is telling Eric Frankenstein to hide, and he's like, "You're not hidden," and he's like, "I don't give a shit." I just thought that was funny. And during the like flashback to some of his origin, when he's survived the fire between him and the bride fighting, and then he's being recovered. And she says something about like, here's this healing ointment. And he's like, gypsy shit. I was like, it's like the 1800s. He wouldn't talk like that, but whatever. This is just James Gunn does this. James Gunn lost his dog back in like 2020. During some of the fights, we see a dog, like a painting of a dog in like, I don't know, like a royal outfit. You know what I mean? Like, it's very silly looking. He's named Tabasco Esquisitos or something like that. And that is James Gunn's dog, who is Mr. Weasel Von Spears is his real name.
That's funny.
Or excuse me, Dr. Weasel Von Spears. Sorry, I didn't want to discredit him there.
I mean, he is a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
We all know how they to be preferred doctor.
Yes.
What did y'all think about Eric offing the gypsy lady? He's getting ready to leave. She's upset. She's trying to plead with him, like, don't go. And it's not even like a she loves him kind of thing. She does have company at that point in time. And like, she understands that the bride cares nothing for him. And he's like, oh, I'm not, I wouldn't dare leave you alone. And he kills her. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I didn't see that one coming until he said something about like leaving the dog out, like the dog wouldn't understand or something like that. And I was like, oh no. But yeah, I definitely didn't see that coming. And like, I started to feel bad for the dog, and then the dog just ran off, and I was like, oh, never mind, I guess. Yeah. I guess he's okay.
He probably killed that fucking dog, knowing him.
That poor dog.
Yeah, I thought it was fucked up, and I was just like, man, they are really trying to make you not like this guy. Because I was like, fuck that dude. I thought she did love him, though. I thought that was what they were kind of implying, is that like, because she's blind, she can't see him. Like, they've spent all these years together, like helping each other and stuff, that she sort of did fall in love with him. And it's like this whole Frankenstein did find love, but it's not the love he wants.
You went deeper than I did. Yeah, no, I took it for face value, just because she never mentioned loving him. So I figured if she did, you know what I mean, then that would be a kind of a different, for me anyways, that would have been different. But I totally get what you're saying, and making it even more of a heartfelt or, story. Did they miss their mark? I guess not with you, they didn't. But like, if the mass of people don't think of it that way, did they miss the mark? Should they have made it more clear?
I don't know. I mean, because I was with Richard as well on that one, where I thought that they were implying that she loved him.
Oh, well, then I missed the mark completely. I don't know what, like I said, she never said anything about loving him. She obviously didn't want him to go and was crying and heartbroken over it. But yeah, and I thought it was more of a loneliness kind of thing than it was anything else. Like, she had the dog, but it's still not a human being.
I don't think it was like I love you, like I want to marry you and have children kind of love. I think it was just more of like I love you like a son kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because it didn't seem like it was that kind of thing, but I don't know. It definitely, to me, when she was like being hysterical or being upset about him leaving. Sorry, my mind is like just not here tonight. When he was leaving and she was very upset, she was like begging him. It just felt very much like, don't leave me, I love you kind of thing. She didn't say it, but I didn't think she needed to say it kind of thing.
I got you. No, I see what you're saying. I like the friend aspect more, because the way that it was coming off beforehand was like a lover aspect. And I definitely didn't get that vibe, but I could totally see the friend vibe, because I think that kind of goes along with what I was saying, like that it was a loneliness, a companion kind of deal.
And again, I think Gunn is doing kind of like origins of like the OG, not like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but like the old black and white like Frankenstein movie. Because after Victor creates the monster and they like, I want to say he like goes out and finds a little girl, and she's like super nice to him, but he doesn't, like, because he's a monster and he doesn't like understand. He like kills the little girl, and the villagers like go after him and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think James Gunn is kind of using that in this story.
Mm.
I feel like that's what the old lady is like that little girl that showed him kindness.
I got you.
But anyway, I just thought it was cool.
Okay. Yeah. On to episode 6. Forgive me for pronouncing this because there's no way I'm going to pronounce it correctly, but Prietal Skeletal.
I know that part, Skelett. I forget how she said. It's
Skelett.
It's like Prietel Skelett, I think is what she said.
Prietel Skelett.
Mhm.
Like that. Prietel Skelett. The Commandos are on the run. Nina and the bride take refuge in a brothel. Weasel finds a pack of wolves in the woods, and Dr. Phosphorus finds himself in a home, not unlike what his life was. We get an origin story for Phosphorus. Eric makes his way to Pocolistan, and while Flag fights for his life in the ER. Jeremy, what's your whelming of this episode?
Still right there at whelmed. This one was.
What do they got to do, Jeremy?
They only got one more episode to do it.
Yeah. I don't know. This one was. It was a hard episode, honestly, for me.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, just what Phosphorus went through and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was like that's hard. But and then seeing, obviously getting him missing and all those the feels there and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that part of it was kind of hard. Seeing that, like I said in the last episode, I'm surprised that Rick is hanging on. That was he got everything broken in him basically.
He got baned.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's pretty crazy. And then I did kind of enjoy though the scene where Bride took out those two guys in the brothel or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I was like, I was okay with that one. They deserved that kind of thing. So
He deserved to have his heart ripped out and shown to him before he died.
yeah.
Jackass.
Yeah, I like mention that. It makes this series reminds me a lot of The Boys with its like hyper violence.
Yes.
Especially that scene with her ripping out his heart and then like showing it to him. I was like, I specifically remember, I didn't write a note down, but I specifically remember saying out loud, I'm like, what is this, The Boys all of a sudden? What's going on right now? I think I am pleasantly whelmed. I don't think I still think, I know, Michael, this may disturb you, but I think the Weasel episode is my favorite episode out of all these.
Ugh.
But I like sad things. So like, I think Chasing Squirrels is absolutely my favorite episode. This is probably my second favorite episode because again, it's also equally kind of sad and heartbreaking, but
You sick fucking bastard.
Well, I like what James Gunn's doing. I found this on Reddit. I'm not going to take credit for saying this. This was from a user named Spiderlander, I think is what that's his name. Is that what Gunn's doing here is most people are not born evil. They're made. And he's showing this is doing an amazing job at that. Heroes and villains only differ with how they react to tragedy. And I like that a lot. I think that is exactly what he's doing here. And yeah, seeing Phosphorus' origin story was really cool and just heartbreaking. It's the same reason why I like Mr. Freeze as a villain is because his backstory is so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one really, really bumped it up for me because last episode was just kind of, okay, we get more of Eric Frankenstein being an asshole. This one was like, oh, I feel bad for Dr. Phosphorus.
Yeah. I like that. I like what you're talking about. I like the idea. Do you think that'll be a theme throughout is reactions of tragedy? Like, do you think we'll get that with, Superman and all the characters that are in there and their reactions to?
So comic-y pasta real quick. I absolutely do, because one of the infamous things with Superman is that his father has a heart attack. That's how Pa Kent dies. And it's one of those things that Superman learns a lesson of like, sometimes I can't save people. Sometimes I do not have the ability to save someone. And in one of the trailer shots for James Gunn, we see Clark and Pa Kent embracing each other, looking very sad. I think he may do a switch and kill off Ma Kent instead of Pa Kent in some way. I think that may be what James Gunn does, his own little twist to the story. But yeah, I think we're going to learn that, you know, Superman suffers some tragedy himself. He already does. Like, his whole race is gone.
Right.
I know he finds his cousin and his dog, but like, for the most part, he's the last son of Krypton, if you will. And so that's a huge tragedy that he has to overcome. And I think that would be a cool thematic through line between all of this and his first Gods and Monsters kind of chapter.
Yeah. All right. So second helping of pasta. If Gunn goes through with it and Ma Kent dies off instead of Pa Kent, do you think that would be critiqued at all with the fact that Feige did the same thing with Spider-Man?
Oh, well, I mean, Uncle Ben was dead as well.
He was dead, but at the same time, like, it was Aunt May and the MCU dying that gave him the whole with great power came great responsibility and all that other jazz.
Yeah, I don't think they will, because also that was due to Sony fuckery. Like, that was the only reason why she died instead of us seeing Uncle Ben, is just due to Sony being like, yeah, you can't have Uncle Ben. And they're like, well, fuck you.
Wow. Wow.
So like, they can mention him, but they can't like show him.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, I just kind of wonder if the common audience will be, or not common audience, but like the nerd audience will be like, hey, let's see what you're doing there, Gunn. You big thief.
I mean, it may not. I could just be wrong, but that's my kind of. That is one of the things that happens with Superman. So, and there's a moment where they look sad. So I'm just like,
right, yeah,
that could easily be that moment.
Yeah. Well, I even sat there and said in one live that I was on, I was like, how long do y'all really think Pa Kent's going to last? Like, let's be real here.
Yeah.
He's notorious for not lasting. So I am going to have to go like this. I'm with Jeremy. Like, I'm whelmed. I think it's a good episode, but man, it's hard to watch. I agree with maybe Richard more in the sense that I feel like you like sad things. And so for me, the Weasel's story is way harder for me to watch. So I feel like it makes it more sad. But like, it still hits hard in the feels. To sit there and see what he had to see and deal with what he had to deal with, it's like, oh my God. Like, I could not freaking imagine. And like, I would go ham.
Oh yeah, no.
I would go absolute ham.
No, what
I don't think any of y'all would, do any different. I'm just saying, like,
I don't know. Like, I know Phosphorus kills the main guy, whatever his name was, Rupert Thorne. He kills his wife and kids. I don't know if me personally, I don't know if I could do something like this is just now disturbing talking about that. But yeah, no, I would go like absolutely full Punisher mode on those fuckers if I had to do what what happened to Phosphorus happened to me. Like, absolutely.
Yeah. So since we mentioned him, Jeremy, I didn't do any last episode, so we'll do it this episode. First appearance. Rupert Thorne, Detective Comics.
I don't know. I didn't look through the list to approve.
469 from 1977. That actually is also the first appearance of Dr. Phosphorus as well. We've already touched on this one, but I can't sit there and spill the beans about people coming up. It's not how this shit works. We got another Argus mention as well from Amanda Waller. So I wonder how big of an impact Argus will, play and things like the Superman movie and stuff like that that's coming up. Pretty big organization for DC to be bringing in.
Yeah. I want to say, I thought with some of the leaks. No, never mind. It's with Maxwell Lord.
Lord.
Yeah. I was about to
Sean
say.
Gunn again.
Yeah, exactly. Sean Gunn again. Sean Gunn's playing everyone. He's playing Superman. He's playing Lois. He's playing Jimmy.
That's funny. All right, so we've hinted at it. Let's go ahead and let's talk about it. Dr. Phosphorus's origin. He was a scientist. He dealt with some rather shady people and was looking to cure cancer, though, essentially. There was a good lead on curing cancer. And Rupert Thorne was one of those shady people. Wound up killing off his wife, his kids, or his kid. And then he's the reason Phosphorus is the way he is now. He's locked him up in a chamber, radiated him to the point where now he's the green glowing man that he is. And I just, man, that scene of like, yeah, I get his prints all over it. You see his dead wife there, just all bloody. His son there laying on the ground, all bloody. And they're like taking his hands and putting them in the blood, putting them on the bodies, putting them on the knife, like total setup right there. And it's just like, wow. Wow. I don't, again, the Weasel one for me was harder, but man, that's not saying much.
Yeah.
Like this is bad.
Gunn pulled no punches with showing like the dead family, like up close and personal, like from Dr. Phosphorus's like view.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just thinking while watching, I was like, who hurt you, James? Who hurt you, Jimmy?
Jeremy, you said that this one was hard. Was this one for you harder to watch than Weasel?
Probably, honestly. Yeah, I think this one kind of hit more home. I don't know. Yeah, just dealing with his family and everything like that just kind of really hit pretty hard. So, and then Thorne kind of called him out too later about like almost throwing his wife under the bus about like not giving the information or something like that. I was like, wow, yeah, that's kind of rough. So,
oh yeah, Thorne was definitely a dick.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The thing though that makes at least you understand why Dr. Phosphorus ended up in prison is after he gets his revenge, then he just becomes another crime boss himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't stop.
Going back to like what you're saying, you know, how you deal with trauma kind of thing.
Mhm.
He took the path of the villain afterwards. I guess it was like, what else do I have to do? I'm a big green guy now. Like what do you do with this?
Guy.
Yeah.
Weirdly, though, he dresses up like a pimp and then decides to do a dance number with his henchmen. Is it a requirement in Gotham? Henchmen have to be like theatric, like they have to know how to do makeup and they have to know how to do dance numbers. Like, is that a thing?
Absolutely. Yes,
it's on their resume.
I almost like expecting to do like the Michael Jackson lean.
Yeah.
It gave me like very much Batman and Robin vibes from that scene where like they're glow in the dark and stuff like that. And they're fighting, and it's
yes, I thought of them as well.
Vibes.
Yes, I thought of them as well. The little like whatever blacklight gang.
Yes, yeah, bunch of heathens.
Well, a infamous person shows up. This also got spoiled for me back when this show first aired. And when it happened, I wrote one thing, and I really wish I pulled the clip, and I just didn't have time this week. But I wrote, "Yeah, Batman!"
Oh, that's funny. That was from the Batman Forever movie.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know necessarily what we're talking about, you should definitely go back and watch the Batman Bat Madness bracket that we did here however long ago. So I think was that last year that we did it? Or
I think it
was.
Yeah, it was definitely last year, but I think it was like this time last year or something. I can't remember.
Or did we do Mutant Madness last year?
Yeah, Mutant Madness was last year. I think Batman this was the before.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's a reference there, so you'll have a good time listening to that or watching it on YouTube, whichever one. It was pretty funny. Yeah, Batman. We don't get any facial features, nothing like that. There's no lines talk, so we have no idea who's going to be playing Batman. But we definitely have a Batman in this universe to fight Clayface. If he's still around.
Mm.
Yeah, and I definitely was not Like I didn't have that spoiled. Obviously, I definitely was not expecting that. And whenever that all went down, I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be interesting. See how that they'll actually start
Right.
pulling him in now and everything." So
I kind of wish they'd done it like animated series style. That would have been a good little throwback.
There was at the start of that episode, they do like almost the animated Tim Burton, the kind of like it feels very like in that same vein, not like a 1-to-1 kind of thing, but
Yeah.
I was just that's why I knew immediately. I'm like, oh, we're in Gotham. Like the way they did that, I was like, this is Gotham. It has to be Gotham here.
Very fitting too, because like we were talking about earlier, Phosphorus came out of a Detective Comic, so he is a Batman villain. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Let's see. At the same time, you've got freaking Nina and the bride hiding out in a brothel. I like the lady, the mistress of the brothel. I thought she was pretty funny. She held her own, and I really like the fight between Nina and the bride and these two jackasses that come in there.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, just that one guy who's like, I can't even remember what his name was. It was like Fred or some shit like that. He's
Oh
like,
yeah.
let's kill them all. He's like, oh shit, okay, fine. And his brains just get splattered on the door. I'm just like, yes, here's the bride. She takes no shit.
Yeah, she blew his brain. I like when when he goes to like punch her and she catches him and then she just like snaps his arm like it's a
Yeah.
Oh my
twig.
gosh.
It was
Yes.
like just easy.
Yes.
I forget her name, but the head lady. I honestly almost like wondered if she was going to have some kind of ability or something there, like right before, whenever she was getting hit in his face, whatever, trying to get him to stop.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, I was a little let down by that, but at the same time,
Mm.
like that, just to let, like we were saying, let Bride do her thing and take care of it.
Yeah.
Like, and it showed a little bit more heart for Bride as well. On
Yeah.
that.
Well, especially at the end when Nina was like, "Oh, you came back and saved me. You do have a heart."
Yeah.
She's like, "Shut up. No, I don't."
I like Nina says something to the bride about how like she needs therapy, and I was like, she does need therapy.
She absolutely does. I like the bride. She's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
She definitely grows.
Yeah, no, she's definitely cool. I like her. I'm like you. I kind of want to see this team in live action.
Yes.
Back to the
Same.
madam of the like brothel or whatever. Did y'all recognize her voice? And the reason why I say that is because she was in Penguin.
I was gonna say, now that you say it, I guarantee it's the chick from Penguin, because
Yes.
that woman has a very distinct voice.
Exactly. Yes, she was Sal Maroney's wife that got
Yep.
burned by Penguin. Like when
Yeah.
Penguin lit his son and wife on fire. She's the wife.
Yeah,
So
Okay.
that's cool.
mhm.
Yeah.
Not that they got burnt on fire, but you know that they used the same person.
Yes, that they used.
That was cool.
I think people understood that.
I also like, and I think it's taken way too lightly too, and like I've not heard anybody talk about it, and maybe I'm just over enthralled by it. I don't know, but meta humans.
Yeah,
That's a
absolutely.
normal thing.
Yeah.
The idea that's in the DCU, it's normal. Everybody knows about them. Like, I like that. That was a huge
Same.
thing in the whole Flash CW TV show, that it was about metas and how they came about and stuff. Like, this just solidifies it. Like, they're here. Everybody knows about them. So that's really cool, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it's in this episode or the previous episode, but there's like a guard who's looking at like a Playboy magazine that has a bunch of like
Yeah.
meta-humans in it. So that's even
It's
another
Phosphorus.
thing.
It's
Was
this
it
one.
Phosphorus? Okay.
Yeah, because he went to, it's the guy that guards the gate for Thorn.
Right. You're right. I remember that now. Yeah. Yeah. So like it's definitely cementing that like people with powers exist in this universe and everyone knows about it. It's just kind of like a day-to-day thing, which I guess is why no one reacted to Frankenstein, like being like, oh, I lost my contact kind of thing.
At first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. The last thing I have is just that child is sterile. That you can't tell me that being around Dr. Phosphorus for that long, she is absolutely sterile now.
Did y'all think that Phosphorus was gonna kill the kid?
There was part of me that wondered. Like, I really wondered there for a minute, but I'm definitely glad he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very, especially when we learned that he did kill like a wife and kid from Rupert Thorne. I was like, oh no, he's gonna kill this
Yeah.
family. Because like I could easily see James Gunn being like, Weasel has a sympathetic backstory, and Dr. Phosphorus, like, you're sympathize with him, but he's also a bastard kind of thing. Like, I was
Yeah.
waiting for that to happen, but it didn't. And I was like, okay, thank God.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, no.
Mhm.
This little animated kid's too cute. You can't do that. Like,
Mhm.
no,
Yeah.
don't do that. But of course, I like that he didn't. Of course, I like the kid's alive, the parents are alive, all that jazz. And not only is it because, the kid didn't die, we didn't have to see that, but the fact that, like, it also showed Phosphorus, he's not a complete monster,
Yeah.
Mm.
which goes along with the story that I feel like James Gunn that we were talking about earlier. We
Yeah.
talked about the episode before of like people have created these monsters. Like,
Mhm.
yes, it is their reaction to trauma, but it's like the effect that other people have had that have created these monsters is like, a big thing as well. And that, like, even though he's classified as a monster, like, deep down he's not.
Yeah.
That's what I like. That's why I like them showing.
Right. Yeah. The line of him saying, like, it looks like I'm smiling, but I'm not. Like, it's such a heartbreaking moment because it's like,
Right.
oh, he's like missing his kids kind of, or his kid kind of thing.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, I didn't write this down, but Weasel, I love Weasel in this
Yeah.
episode. Like, he's just a
Yeah.
fucking dog at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm calling it now. Weasel will absolutely betray the team. I'm waiting for it because he now sees what's her name, the princess, is like the girl he tried to save. He had that dream. I totally see Weasel betraying the team somehow. I hope he doesn't die. I kind of hope Weasel survives all this, but
Yeah.
Let's see. We did Phosphorus, did Nina. Eric is, of course, on his way to Colistan. He murders a whole fleet of people on a plane. Not a whole fleet, but like 2 or 3 guys that were going there apparently, and told the pilot to turn the fuck around and do his job.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's on his way to Colistan. And then Flag's just trying to live in the ER.
We know he lives just from the Superman leaks, unless it's someone impersonating him.
Maybe Clayface lives.
Yeah,
it could be Clayface.
That's what I was about to say. Clayface absolutely survived that. I don't think Clayface is dead from that electrocution.
Superman? Like on the new one, the one that's coming up?
Yeah, there were some set leaks where Superman's in like handcuffs and he's being hauled off.
Oh,
and next to him is dadgummit, I can't think of the actor that plays him.
Frank Grillo.
Grillo, thank you. Frank Grillo is playing Rick Flag, both in the show and in live action, and he's kind of dressed exactly like he's wearing that yellow shirt, has gray hair, gray beard, kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember that conversation now. See, I can remember things, just kind of jogged a little bit.
So I'll go ahead and say that no, never mind. I'm not gonna say anything. What do y'all? I know, right? Last episode's coming up. So what are y'all's predictions?
It's the end of the series. I don't know.
Nice.
I mean, like,
okay, solid.
Yeah. I really don't. I'm interested, just like I said earlier, to see who's right and who's wrong, kind of thing. Or like, could just be a combination of kind of what Richard was saying. Like everybody figures out that Waller's been playing them, and they turn and just blow her up or something.
All right.
Yeah,
Richard.
I doubt that'll happen. I would be shocked if James Gunn killed Waller off like at the start of the DCU, but. Man, my gut is telling me right now Waller's behind all this because I keep going back to like, why the fuck was Clayface there? Like, what the fuck is going on with Clayface? I appreciate this because it's such a misdirection because right now I'm like, I don't know where the fuck we're going right now. So yeah, I'm going to say, my prediction is Waller's behind it. She's wanting it for reasons. I don't know why. Say it's oil, say it's some kind of super weapon or superhuman or something, but there's something yet to be revealed to the audience and she's wanting it. And that's why I said I think Weasel's going to betray the team because he thinks that's the little girl he tried to save. Or maybe it is the little girl he tried to save. I don't know. That would be a weird twist, though, because, like, why did she become the princess? Like, I don't know. Now I'm just, like, yapping. What else?
She became adopted. Royalty came over there and adopted her.
No, okay. It's like the, was it the Princess Diaries or whatever? In that what happens in that? I don't know. I've never seen that movie.
Oh, that's a good movie.
He was pleasantly whelmed by that one.
I was.
I don't know. I can't think. Because, like, in what world do those knights beat Superman and Batman? Like, those two alone could defeat all those fuckers.
Hey, they'd have Gorilla Grodd. I don't know what to tell you.
He's a smart gorilla. That's it. Like,
he's fantastic.
No.
Love Gorilla Grodd.
No.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Such a dumb Flash villain.
Love him. I love Gorilla Grodd.
Oh, my gosh.
My prediction is that
You don't get a prediction. You've already seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I do. I do get a prediction. I do, because it's going to be of y'all's reactions to it.
Oh.
I think y'all are going to be surprised. by
Good.
it.
I want to be surprised.
I don't think that's a far stretch for me.
Which means I'm still right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think y'all will be pleasantly surprised by it. To me, there was some shocking stuff that happened in the very last episode. Pretty much everything is answered, and it's like, here's the season.
Any kind of post-credit stingers?
There is a post-credit, but it's
just like a gag.
It's not even necessarily a gag. It answers somewhat of another question that, they didn't answer before they closed the credits. But it's not very impactful. Yep.
Cool.
Well, that it for episode, what was that? 6.
Yep.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Awesome. Jeremy, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Twitch under the handle Night Fury GTO. That's Night with a K. And you can find me here.
Awesome. Richard, where can they find you at?
You still want me to do the shame, don't you? I can see you kind of grinning, Michael.
Well, I was like, I saw you smiling, and I'm like, what the fuck is he smiling at? I'm missing something here. There's some intel that I don't know about. Like, what's going on? Are we supposed to be playing Rivals? Is that what this is going to be about?
No.
Is that?
I mean, you probably should, because I hear it's quite good. I mean, it is quite good, but what I'm saying is a lot of people other than myself, I don't want to spoil. Anyway, it's good. I like it. Spoilers. If you want to contact me directly, I have an X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram, a Blue Skies, and a Threads. My handle is Night Curry, night like day and night, and curry with a K. If you want to contact us directly, we have a Gmail. Our Gmail is comicallycomicspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics Podcast. And if you want to check us out on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics with an X.
You can find me on Instagram, eBay, and shortbox22_comics as well as YouTube at 22comics. Thank y'all so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did making it. Well, all that being said, say goodbye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy.
Goodbye, Jeremy. Goodbye.
I'm beginning to suspect this whole plan makes absolutely no sense from my point of view. Hide! You think you're hidden right now? Oh, come on. I don't give a shit.